Well, now, you'll be shocked to learn that the stumbling blocks that I'm about to write on this board, 5 of them affects over 98% of people. And that is what deters them from achieving what we call the financial, should I call it freedom or whatever the financial goals that they have in something of sort. These are 5 stumbling blocks that affects most of the people. And probably you're watching this video and it's affecting you. And what exactly can you do? I'm not going to just only share with you the 5 stumbling blocks, but I'm going to show you exactly what exactly you're supposed to do so you don't get yourself into that specific thing. Hey, guess what? This is Good Joseph speaking. If you're watching me for the first time, go ahead and hit the like button and make sure that you subscribe. Why? Because I upload a video each and every day. And here we talk nothing but finances, investment, and anything related to that. If then that is a cup of your coffee, seriously, who hates money? So go ahead and do so. And if you're a returning subscriber, you don't know how much I feel inside of my heart. Thank you very much for always coming back to watch my video. Let's get into the business because here we don't waste time, okay? Now, let's see, take all these 5 steps. Now, the first stumbling block. Let me tell you one secret, guys. There is something called, do you know there are people who are affected by things that we call them the pre-existing beliefs? And some of them we call them the pre-existing perceptions and beliefs. There's something called pre-existing beliefs and perception about life. Have you ever met somebody when you tried to tell them, hey, you know what? But do you know it's possible to make $1 million, Bob? Do you know it's possible you actually to get your 10,000? Do you know it's even possible to make $1 million or something? Do you know it's possible that we... And they have this kind of a mentality. They are like, no, that can be done. That belongs to the rich. That belongs to the wealthy. I cannot be able to do it. Nobody has ever done that in my family. That cannot happen. Have you ever tried to go back to your country and try to do something different from what the community does? Or just, I want to do this. I want to test you. If you've never tried this, do this, yeah? Go back home and try to relate with the people. Maybe, let's say you live in cities and what have you. Go and check those guys and try to do something differently. I'm telling you, the kind of a mentality that you'll face, you'll be shocked. And this is why I always tell people, some of the information or some of the problem that affect people, it belongs or it's from their head and from their mentality. So the point is, there are some of the pre-existing beliefs and perceptions that can deter you from realizing your full potential. For example, if I tell you, hey, you know what? Job will never make you wealthy. Nobody employs you to be wealthy. People be like, no, it's the greatest thing. It's the thing we were told. The hardest thing that people can do in their lives is to unlearn what they had learned. To unlearn that, for them to learn a new thing, to relearn a new thing, becomes very hard. There is something called, you just want to be where you are, what you are used to, and all those kind of things. So those pre-existing beliefs and thoughts and what have you, they can actually deter you from achieving your full potential. When I tell you, the point is not just savings. Avoid the savings culture. There are people who cling to the saving culture. The saving culture is the one that can make you wealthy. The saving culture is what you... See, there is a difference between the saving culture and investing culture or investment culture. There's nothing wrong with investing or rather the savings. But when you save, then you transit to the next level of investing that money. And I said in 2024, we no longer save. We invest directly. So the point is, it's good to have what we call the investment culture. It's good to kick off some of the beliefs that, by the way, if you were to go back at your home, some of you guys, you already know the solutions to the problem that you have. But the problem is that you don't want to take the next step. For example, in your family, hey, we have a problem with alcohol. And if I can be able to take care of the alcohol because it's kind of thing in my family, then it means I'll solve almost over 60 or 70% of my problems and challenges. You know very well. You know very well there is something wrong with you. But then the issue is this. You don't want to get off the... the problem that you have right now is because of your friends. It's because of where you live. It's because of all those perceptions. These are called the pre-existing beliefs and the perception that you have that can deter you from achieving that full potential. Have you ever seen those people who become wealthy and successful in life? They kind of kick off... And I always tell people, do not even think hard. Think about me. And this is a challenge that I always throw to people. Go watch my 3-year ago videos on my TikTok or rather my YouTube channel. You can just see, I was just having a camera. I didn't even have a stand or lighting or a studio like this or something. I was just holding my phone. The video was shaky, and all those kind of things. But I was still believing in myself. And the guys whom I was surrounding me, I told you guys, the first dislike that I got from my video was from my friend. Probably he's watching the video, and I always tell him, yeah, I got the first dislike from you. For me, I'm a straightforward person. I just tell you the truth. I got the first dislike from the. So if I had listened to my friend, I wouldn't be here. There would be nothing like Good Joseph. It would be nothing like you coming here and watch me. It's about determination and pushing along. Point number 2, that actually is a stumbling block, is something called fear. A lot of people are affected by, a lot of dreams are actually killed by this fear. Fear of losing. You don't want to start it. You are so shameful. You feel like if you start this and it fails, and you know what? You know those people who told you not to start, or those people who didn't start when you're starting. They hang around to see you failing so that they can justify why they didn't take an action. And then when you fail, maybe to that thing that you started, because there are some of the things that I started and they failed. And the guy was like, okay, I told you that can't work, that can't do this, that can't do that. But there's one thing, I'm a step ahead of them. Why? Because I already know what can't work and what can work. For them, they're reading it from afar. I'm reading it from the inside. So I know the thing. It's the guy who invented the bulb and whatever. I don't know, he did it 1,000 times. So he was asked, you are wasting time. Then he said, no, the 999 was actually, I learned the ways on how it can't work. I think it was Thomas Edison or something. You can correct me on the comment section. So, but the fact is, you have to overgo your fear for you to realize the beauty of the other side. That's the reality. Some people you tell them, for example, you're a graduate, and this is the problem that I had, yeah? We graduated, yeah, and just like I told you guys, my first degree that I did on university was about medical. I'm a medical research officer and what have you. So, kind of community knows you are a doctor and what have you, and then you're in the community, and then there are no jobs or they are limited and what have you, and then now you have to do what is available. And I remember I got myself into the what we call the interior design, whatever, painting and what have you. I love to share this thing because it's a true thing. And then some of the people would fear to do that because the community knows them. They are from the university, and you're supposed to be on a white collar job. You cannot get into the blue collar job and what have you. But for me, I said, guess what? I'm not perfect, but I'm gonna pick that was available before I get what I want. That's the reality. But I didn't get fooled by that. What I'm getting as of now, I knew this is where I'm heading, this is what I'm doing, and all those kind of things. So, but the fear of losing, fear of shame, fear of people, what will people say? Fear of, hey, what if it becomes too successful that I may not even handle it? There are people who fear success. It's true. There are people, if you tell them, come here, people have a very good, nice language, they're comedians, they're what have you. You tell them, come before the camera and record some videos and make fun. They feel like, hey, what if I become famous? I cannot be able to handle that, and all those kind of things. Fear of that. My friend, even the Bible tells us that even God hates coward people. You're not supposed to be coward. You're supposed to be bold. You're supposed to be an individual who says, guess what? And by the way, I always tell you this thing, yeah? Even if you are wrong when you're expressing something, but you have the confidence, people will admire your confidence. They forget about when you're wrong on the opposite, but they just admire your confidence. Confidence is a very good thing that you can never have when you want to be successful. Never fear. Always be out there and do something that you can be able to do. All right. The number 3, as we move along, is something called comfort. Comfort. Again, people don't want to disturb their comfort. That's a reality. For example, if I ask you each and every day, let's show up early in the morning at around 8 or 7 or 6 or whatever the time it is. Let's go for a gym. Or let's go for training. You find people don't want to disturb that. And you know what? This body that we usually have, they usually have this kind of pre-existing sort of a mechanism or something. The moment you go overboard, the moment you do different from what it wants, then there is a resistance. Have you tried to wake up early in the morning? You feel like the body telling you, no, don't wake up. See, the moment you ride on the comfort of the desires of your body or the desires of your flesh, you'll never experience the highest order of yourself. You're always vibrating those negative energies and what have you, because you just want the comfort. And this comfort, and when I say comfort here, you can actually relate this to job. You don't just want to get a job, get a salary at the end of the month, but at the back of your head, you want to be rich, you want to be successful, you want to be free individual, you want to run companies, you want to be a media person and what have you. You have all the degrees about media personality and what have you. You don't even have an online presence. You don't even have a blog. You don't even have a LinkedIn account. You're not even on YouTube. You're not even on TikTok. You are nowhere, but you're a media individual. Why? Because you have the mentality of the comfort, mentality of the job. That's the thing they want. Just get paid at the end of the month. You go home, you eat, you drink, you have babies, then you grow old, you get your pension, nothing. Like just a comfort life. You never shoot out. You never stand out from large population and what have you. So the thing is, the comfort is affecting a lot of people. For example, let's say maybe you've been following him for the last 2 years or 1 year or whatever the months. You've done nothing. You always come here, watch my video, you always shake your head. Wow, amazing. That's great. That's great. You never even bothered what is a money market fund. You never even wanted to go ahead and do some research of what it is. You never even take any action. You've never even bought any shares. You're not even having any business. You don't save. You just want to have fun, to enjoy, to be out there, you just want to have like a holiday each and every time. You just want to have fun, to relax. There was a time we were seated with 5 guys, 5 friends, and we were broke. I wouldn't lie about that. We were broke, 5 of us. And you know what I told them, guys? You know what? This is the worst thing that you can ever do. If we can be able to gather 5 of us at any given time, then there's a problem. This is a crisis in making. The moment you can manage to gather your 5 friends at any given time, unless you work together, at any given time, just because you guys are available, you are free, you don't have the job, you don't have the opportunities, you can gather the 5 of you and sit down, then that's a crisis in making. That's a reality. People ought to be busy. People ought to be there, building their lives, if not the nations and world at large. So the thing is, kick off this comfort. The comfort is the worst thing that can ever happen in your life. Because comfort leads to average. And the moment new ideas are shared with you and they disturb what you understand and what you know. But have you ever tried to go to back in the up country and try to share something that is disturbing their normal thing? They cannot do that. This is how we do the thing. This is how the thing is done. This is how that. What if you do the things that people do for years and years and years and you're expecting a different result? Then how then do you gonna get those different results? You have to do things differently. Point number 4. Point number 4 is none other than having what we call, what we call the victim mentality. Victim mentality. There are people who say, I am poor because of so and so. I am poor because of where I'm born from. I am poor because of my gender. I'm poor because of my race. I'm poor because of my religion. I'm poor because of this. I'm poor. And then they are bitter. People who have the victim mentality, they are always bitter in this life. They always find anything negative. And then they fix their hope upon the leaders, then politicians. Those are people who are working on their dreams. It is true. And I always love to give this example. Let's say you think like your problem would be fixed. But I totally understand there's some of the things that are contributed by the leaders and the politicians and what have you. I'm not trying to be ignorant of that. It is true. But the reality happens is probably they contribute like 25%. But the rest 75% comes from inside of you. That's a reality. In a country where you can say the politicians are this and that, there are people who for example, if you come to Nairobi, you go to those posh areas. Forget about even the ultra-wealthy areas where they live. You go to places like Kilimani, Kileleshwa, Hurlingham, what have you. Just go there, sit somewhere and just see the type of cars that are passing there. And some of those people are not even in politics. Some of them are most of them are even in businesses. Then what does that tell you? It tells you, yes, as much as the governments and the politicians are contributing to some of the disadvantages and what have you, the fact remains nobody owes you for me to be successful. Just because we have a wealthy country in Western countries like the US, the UK, that does not mean it's another detriment of us. No, we can as well do. See, the moment you can eradicate the victim mentality, it is because of we become more responsible of ourselves. We can't be respected that way, and that's how you build ourselves, and we become. You know what? There is a reason why we are over 8 billion of us on this world, so that we can be of help to each other. But the moment you keep on knocking on the closed door, be like, hey, I'm poor because of you. I am poor because of you. Poor because of my parents. My parents didn't do this. My parents didn't do that. If it is true, then you have no choice. Then you cannot just cry on that door closed. Just turn around and see an opportunity. The issue is just cease having this victim mentality. You graduate, you got no job, or jobs are inadequate. You have nobody who can connect you here and there. Fine. Try to find out on the thing that you can. Pray for that thing that you do along the way, and try to be able, and try to do, you have to be intentional. I remember when I was doing the paintings and what have you, I could relate with those wealthy people who was giving us jobs, and I was like, so I didn't approach them with a victim mentality, like, you know what, I'm doing this job because I come from a poor background, you know what, no. I would approach them with a mentality of, hey, you know what, there's something that I know, blah, blah, blah. And then at the middle of the conversation, it would be like, have you ever gone to school and something? Yeah, sure, I'm a graduate. I'm doing this because of, I could even justify why I'm doing this. I could be like, hey, you know what, for now, we have the limited opportunities, but I grab what I have as of now, but I'm looking forward to doing this. And by the way, I saw you are doing something. I can be able to be helped in that thing. And no. In that process, you actually create connections. Yeah, I remember there was one I approached when I was having those aprons and what have you, and then the next day he gave me an appointment. I went there with a suit, and then he was like, yo, are you the one? I was saying, yeah, I'm the one. And then he gave me a project, and I earned quite a good amount of money. Everyone in that place was jealous, and I was actually fired. Anyway, that's a story of another day. So the point is, never approach life with a victim mentality. Even when you go to somebody, when you're asking for something of help, don't go with like, hey, you know what, I've been suffering, I'm having this. And don't talk about your issues first. Talk about what you can first. Because if you're approaching somebody who is running a business, they also have their own issues. Probably they have gone through more than you do, or you've gone through. First of all, show them how can you benefit them. Then at the end of the conversation, then you can tell them where you come from. Anyway, the last thing, procrastination. Procrastination. The point is, to procrastinate is to I will do, starting next year, starting the other thing. You never take any action. Again, this is actually a dream killer. For example, let's say, right now there is an opportunity. All right. I remember when the COVID-19 was starting, I told my guys, you know what, guys, we don't have much, but I'm anticipating things to do with hygiene will actually appreciate in price, likes of the masks. Actually, I did concentrate much on the masks, and I told them, guys, you know what, I think we can just set aside some cash and buy the mask right now, before this thing hits, because I'm anticipating this thing can actually be a big deal. And the guys were like, that's a small issue, it will just blah, blah, blah. And when the mask actually went all the way up to a $1 single mask, and I told them, guys, you see, told ya. Okay, I didn't invest, honestly, because I was hanging around with guys who, let me all get there. Some of them are watching videos, these videos of mine, but it's okay. I told them it's a reality, it's a fact. It's nothing. It's the reality. So if you're watching, I told you guys, and you never took the action. Then that's why I learned to do things by myself. Because the moment you keep on having this flocking with people who you're not on the same boat in terms of the investment, they just drag themselves, but slowly they do. I just love, get the opportunity, grab it, move it, grab it, move it, move it, move. You have to relate with those kind of people. For me, because I really hate when relating to somebody, I'm giving them an idea and then they're trying to smack the ideas with the negativities. I really hate that. So anyway, guys, guess what? That marks the end of my video, but don't forget, go ahead and like the video and also subscribe. Leave a comment on the comment section. Share the video if you're in a position to, and you can as well always grab the number of mine from the description of this specific video if you'd like to get my services. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.